Hi, is anyone there? Not yet. Okay, let's just set this up. Maybe a little bit down. Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Eric from Etacude. This is a channel dedicated to teaching, and today I'm doing a live stream on critical thinking. Now, before I start with the topic, I'm just going to talk a little bit and wait for some people to get back on. And also, I really start at 8 o'clock, so I'm just starting a little bit earlier just to, talk a little bit and, get into it. Hi, we've got our first watcher for today. I think it's my mom, I'm guessing. And we've got two. Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm just fixing this up. I want you to have a better background than just looking at the wall. So at least now we've got something there. Hi, Danny. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, so good to have you again. I'm going to start with the topic for today. The topic is critical thinking in the classroom. But before I do, I thought I'd just talk a little bit and wait for some more people to join because actually I start at 8 o'clock. Actually, I thought, let me talk a little bit about this week. What have I been doing? So one big thing was, by the way, I'm not really, usually I wear a nice shirt or perhaps a jacket and I try and look a little bit more professional, but I feel like this is a Sunday night. I'm just wearing my normal t-shirt. Actually, I just came back. I took my girlfriend back home. She came to visit me yesterday, so I just drove her home and I just got back. Yeah, maybe I should wear a nicer shirt or I should dress up. I'm still thinking about it. Hello, Mom. Yeah, I'm still thinking whether I should wear a nice shirt or just have a better background. But for now, I just feel like, I'll wear a t-shirt and just talk like this. Okay, so yeah, what did I do during the week? There's one teaching related thing I want to talk about before I get to critical thinking. And it's when you start teaching on a Monday and you've got your first class, you kind of feel like you need to get into your lessons, like that first class, your starting call, some of the things you might not be doing right. And I think it's the same with anything in life. You need to warm up. Hi, we've got a third watcher. Hi, from Morocco. Echo, how you doing? Yeah, I'm going to talk about our topic now. I'm just waiting a little bit before I start. So I started on Monday, I started class. And, even though you've got everything well planned and thought out, you still make some mistakes. For example, next week we're doing our individual presentations. And I really pride myself on preparing my students for public speaking. I think it's something I've been doing a long time. And so I ask my students, I pair them up and I tell them, okay, everyone, I want you to think of 5 tips that you can give me about what you can do to be a better public speaker. How can you improve your presentations? Hi, Limin. Limin also has a channel. She focuses on cooking. She lives very close to me. Anyway, and so the students, they look it up, they go on their phones and they talk to their partner and they write down a couple. And I said, okay, well, now we're going to split you up into groups and I want you to share that with the new group. And the mistake I made was, obviously the students are going to find the same information. Like they would look up, for example, make eye contact with the audience. And so the first group said, make eye contact with the students after I asked them for some feedback. A second group also said, make eye contact with the audience. And then I would ask them, okay, well, what is good eye contact? Voila, they don't know. So that first day, that first class, it didn't go exactly how I wanted. So the second day, I kind of mixed it up. I said, okay, everyone, I'm going to put you with a partner, and then I'm going to give each one a topic to research when it comes to public speaking. For example, one group will only focus on how do you speak. The second group, body language, maybe just how do you stand. The third group, eye contact. What is good eye contact? The next group, structure. What is the structure of your presentation? And that class actually went a little bit better because now each group is basically becoming an expert in what they have to study. So, for example, the experts on eye contact and the experts on structure. Now I put them together and they explain it to the team, and then afterwards I let the team give me feedback. And that went better, but the third class I did, I feel like then I got into the groove, because now I've done the warm-up and everything feels better. So yeah, sometimes I think, even if you are an experienced teacher, you can have these moments where you first need to warm up. And if we can recognize that, we can prepare better and we can have some ideas that we can use in case we get stuck or in case, it doesn't go exactly like we want. Hey, Nazar. I'm going to talk about your topic today, about critical thinking. I'll probably start in a couple of minutes, maybe 5 past. I'll start talking about critical thinking. Yeah, I'm very excited. I've been doing a little bit of research, and I think it's a very important topic. So yeah, nice to have you back again. Okay, and yeah, so that's something that happened in the classes. And then something very interesting that happened on Friday is I did my very first photo shoot. Okay, I know, we take pictures or we take selfies or we take group photos, but this was my first almost professional photo shoot. And man, was that an experience. Because if you don't know me, I'm very shy on camera. And when I do take a picture, what do? You smile like this, and you look like a fool. So I was very fortunate to ask one of the foreign students. I met him and we started talking, and he told me, wow, I'm really into photography. And I said, well, that's great, I might not look it right now, but I'd really like to get some good photos of myself. So he said, sure, yeah, he wants to take some photos. And I said, great, I'll bring some clothes, and for the day we'll just take some photos. And so we met on Friday. I was wearing my suit. Now the big mistake was I woke up, I went to the gym, everything was fine, and then I went to the cafeteria, and they were serving some of the best food. I've never been to the cafeteria on a Friday, but it was amazing. I think from now on I'm going to a cafeteria on Friday every time. And so thank you, Limin. Yeah, the photo. So I ate so much without thinking of the photo shoot. So I just ate before the photo shoot very quickly, got ready, brushed my teeth, and I went to meet the student, Shohak. And I was so bloated in my suit, and we took the first photos, and he's like, Eric, your body's fine, your face is fine, but your expression you have to change. And I said, yeah, no, I'm trying not to fart the whole time. So yeah, that was good, because once again, I started and I was anxious. I didn't know how to pose. Nobody ever taught me how to smile and not smile, how to keep your eyes, your body, your posture. I think I'm fine when I meet people in person, I can talk to them and it's fine. But now I've got to show my personality on a 2D form. I need to show my personality just a picture, and that's so difficult. But the more it went on, I started warming up, and you started giving me these tips, and I started to realize, wow, this is such an important skill, looking good on camera. And I would tell everybody out there, if you have the opportunity, you should do the same. You should find a friend or just get someone that's a little patient and say, let's go out, let's go for a walk, and try a couple of poses. Ask them to get a few good shots of you. And not the good, but like proper nice poses, and see how it goes, because I can truly say that it's been a great experience. Okay, guys, how are you doing today? I've just been talking about my experience. Are you all doing well? How was your week, Naza? Did you have a good class? Limin, I love that video you posted. It was really good. Danny, things are looking good. Yeah, I'm very happy. I just feel like I've got some more work to do. Yeah, so let's get started with today's topic. So last week, Nazar asked me a question. He said, okay, Eric, how do we teach critical thinking in the class? And yeah, I was on the spot. I'm like, okay, what can I say? And I think I mentioned a few things. I said, okay, well, you've got to ask open-ended questions. You've got to give students the opportunity to ask questions. You've got to relate it to their real life so that they can feel invested in it. And also you should use project-based learning where, you give them a problem to solve and they can analyze and to do it. And to my credit, I think the answers were actually good. I think, thank you to that, that education I got as a teacher. It was still in there somewhere. And, but I didn't go into depth. I didn't talk about it in detail. So today I want to talk a little bit more in detail about how we as teachers can teach critical thinking. And I want to start it with a quote from our boy Benjamin Franklin. He said, "Tell me and I'll forget. Teach me and I might remember. Involve me and I'll learn." And I thought, wow, that's a great quote for critical thinking. It makes us think, right? So we know that, as teachers, sometimes we get into this mode of just preaching to the students, It's just a teacher standing in front and imparting wisdom on the students. And I feel like I get into it sometimes with you guys. You can see, sometimes it's good. Sometimes students need to hear that information. But other times I feel like sometimes teachers just babble on to get, because they've got something they want to say, or they feel like, they just want to pass the time and this is the easiest way to give the knowledge. I've seen it a lot in Korean structure too, where you've got that model of teachers just, what is it called again? They're just basically teaching. Just talking to the students. So we have to move away from there. And, we could teach them. We could say, oh, this is how you do it. This is what you're doing. And I think that is important. I'm going to come to that now. It's very important to give detailed instruction to your students. But the best way we can actually teach them critical thinking is to involve them and to make them part of something bigger. That way, they learn by doing, and that's the best way to learn. Okay, now I was looking up some interesting information about what critical thinking is, because critical thinking is one of the things that a lot of teachers talk about. If you're in a meeting somewhere, the principal says, we have to improve critical thinking. It's such an important part of teaching. And here's the big problem. I was looking at this information. Let me read to you. So they did a major study among schools, and they said the study showed that most faculty considered critical thinking to be of primary importance, to be very important to instruction. 90%. Hi, Asa. How you doing? It's good to see you. I'm just talking about critical thinking and how important it is in the classroom. So most teachers believe that critical thinking is super important. However, only 20% can actually explain what critical thinking is. So I think that's the important place to start from. Let's first define what critical thinking is, and then from there we can look at how can we teach it in the classroom and some extra techniques we can use. Okay. Also, you're doing well. Did you have a good week, a good jog? I didn't go jogging, but actually I'm going to see a chiropractor on Monday at the gym, because I feel like my spine, I need to get some work done. But otherwise, I hope everybody is in good health. Okay, so what is critical thinking? And there's a quote here. Critical thinking refers to the ability to analyze information objectively and make a reasonable judgment. It involves the evaluation of sources, data, facts, observable phenomena, and research finding. Good critical thinkers can draw reasonable conclusions from a set of information and discriminate between useful and less useful details to solve problems and explain what critical thinking, and make decisions. Oh, you just stopped? As teaching students how to analyze. Exactly, Nazar. I think it's so important how to analyze, evaluate, and compare and contrast. Yeah, I'm definitely coming to it. That's basically it. Those are the things we can use in the classroom to teach critical thinking. Okay, so so let's go to what you were talking about. I think let's look at that. So there are basically 5 strategies to teach critical thinking. If you have some kind of lesson that you're doing in class, or you've got a project or some type of work activity that you're doing with your students, you can compare. What is compare? You look at the similarities between things. You can contrast, that is you look what the differences are. Analyze, you break it into parts and you explain it. Categorize, you put it into different parts, and then evaluate. What is valuable? And I think especially in today's milieu, where there's so much fake news, for teachers, I think the most important thing is teaching our students how to use information, and also to understand that information also comes from an angle. Someone can give you information from a certain viewpoint, and there is a reason for that. So we have to understand that, we have to take that into account. And our students shouldn't believe everything. They should actually, analyze it and then see what the value is and why. Okay. Now, how can we as teachers show our students how to critically analyze something, how to look at the different details, how to compare it, contrast it, analyze it, categorize it, and evaluate it? How can we do that? So I looked up a few strategies that we can do. Most important. What is the most important thing? You, the teacher. It is up to you to model the correct behavior. It's up to you to show, okay, so how can you do it? You wonder out loud. You're like, why is this like this? I wonder why this isn't this, why this is like this. So we can actually show our students how to critically think about things, right? So I think, if you can show your students that you're someone that analyzes things and to think about things, that is the best thing we can do. Play the pen game. Now I have to pay attention. That's fine. Actually, I'm very happy. On a side note, where is it? I ordered some cards to be made. It's a card game, and it's the best game I've ever played with my students. Basically, it's a card game that I made with animals, and then each student becomes a character of the animal and they have to do something. Anyway, I'll tell you about it later. It's fantastic. Let me quickly continue with this critical thinking. Now, one thing, if you have a project and you want to do it with the students, there's a really nice activity that you can do called the 6 thinking hats. Now, I'm sure some of you have heard of this. This is quite old. So the 6 thinking hats was made maybe like 80 years ago by this one guy. And he said, basically, what you have to do is when you analyze information, especially if you're in a group, because in a group, you've got different viewpoints. And each person can wear a different hat to think of the information in a different way. So the 6 thinking hats, it's fantastic. Thank you, Devona. Man, Nazar, you're genius. So the white hat is you think of things objectively. You think you're analytical. You only look at the facts. Okay, so that's the white hat. The next one, the red hat, emotional thinking. So it's the subjective feelings that you have. That's more based on opinion. So you actually take opinion into consideration, right? So you think of all these different angles. Black hat, is you're critical, you're skeptical. We can basically say you're the devil's advocate. So you actually look at the risks and the problems that might come from it. That's, I feel like if I was wearing a hat during school, I think I would always be wearing this black hat because I was always thinking about what's the worst thing that could happen. By the way, let me ask you, I'm going through these hats now, and I would like you to think, what hat do you normally wear? What is the way you think? So the first one is white hat. It's analytical and objective. Red hat, emotional. Black hat, critical or focused on risks. Next one, yellow hat, optimistic. It's a yellow color, it's optimistic. It's best case scenario, right? You're optimistic and you want things to go. Blue hat, so it's more structured thinking and it's an overview of the situation. What is the big picture? You're not focusing on the details, you're thinking, okay, what is the big picture of this? And then finally, the green hat. That is creative, that's brainstorming, associated thinking, new ideas. Hey, Chris, nice to see you. So let me see. What hat are you usually wearing? What type of person are you? So white is analytical, red emotional, black critical, yellow optimistic, blue structured, and green creative. Red? Oh, I can see that. Nice. Sometimes I wish I was more emotional or emotional in the right way. Oh, Naza, sorry, I just missed that. Let me just click here to read that again. Don't focus. Yeah, I'm shooting on my phone because I feel like the quality is a little bit better. Sorry, I'm just clicking there. Okay, we should wear the 6 different hats to see things from. Definitely, yeah, Naza. I think it's actually something we can practice in our daily lives. I think self-reflection is definitely part of critical thinking. We should tell our students that, we are biased in our thinking. So we should actually go back and we should reevaluate, how was I thinking during it, right? So how should I think? Yeah, so that's a good one. And I think the thing about critical thinking, right? So we're teaching students how to think critically and to think about things. My girlfriend's calling me. She knows I'm having a live stream now, but next time I'll try and do it from my computer. Okay, so yeah, I think what's interesting is that we can always compare it to Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, and you all know what I'm talking about. It's the triangle. It basically says the first level is to remember something, right? So we can tell our students, okay, the first part is just remembering, reciting something. The second level of Bloom's taxonomy is to understand. So yeah, that's where we understand certain things. Third is to apply it. Fourth is to analyze. Fifth level is to evaluate. And the final level is to create. And that's, I think we can always fall back on that and to think what type of critical thinking our students can do. And we should remind them of these different levels, yeah, it's almost like a game, you're like leveling up, right? Okay, there's my girlfriend now. By the way, Juggy, I'm live streaming. I'll give you a call right after. For you guys that don't know, Juggy is like baby in Korean, or like doll. Yeah. Okay. So guys, yeah, in the classroom, I feel like there are certain things that we can definitely do. Project-based learning. We should give students things that they can try and solve on their own. And I mean, but the most important thing is you should explain things to the students before they start. They say the biggest mistake teachers make when they try and teach critical thinking skills is that they don't explain everything exactly enough. So be well prepared before you do it, right? So be prepared and make sure every student understands what the aim of it is and how to go about it, right? So we do project-based learning, Also, we should try and make it something that involves the students, right? So we should try and make it something that is real to them, right? So it's something they can actually do. And then also we should man, I'm just blanking. Yeah, we should get the students to actually write and talk about it. If students are shy, tell them, okay, you should have someone that's actually going to um, uh, is going to make memos throughout the process of them talking about it and analyzing it. If they're doing it on their own, they should make memos, right? They should write down notes of what they're doing. And then we should get students to vocalize their ideas. We've all had those students where they work very hard during class, but then if you ask them, oh, listen, can you explain it? They're like, yep. They don't say anything. So it's definitely something we have to do with our students. We have to train them how to actually talk about these things. And it's important. That's actually, just to make it about myself again, that's why I told you I'm doing this, is because I felt like I wasn't very good at talking on camera, but it's something I want to try. It's something I want to do. So that's why I'm talking to you guys, and that's why you just see me mumbling and rambling on about these things. So guys, critical thinking, super important. My computer's back on, so I can quickly see where I wanted to take off again. Okay, 6 hats. Okay. I looked at the American Philosophical Association's tips on teaching critical thinking. Number 1, start early. So you want to start teaching the students this early. Number 2, don't push dogma. That means, don't push beliefs or thinking a certain way. You want the students to be open and think about it. 3, encourage kids to ask questions. This is very important. I think someone once said that, if you're asking the students questions, ask them why 5 times. Why? It's something I'm doing in my classes now, in my English classes. I give my students something to talk about, but they have to practice asking follow-up questions. Why, who, what, where, when, why, how. They have to practice asking that. And I think that's very important, right? To practice that. Okay, ask questions to consider alternative explanations and solutions. I think that's where that, some of these hats where you start thinking of different ways. And, students are going to come up with some weird answers, but we should embrace it and we should say, okay, that's fine. That's exactly what we want. And we can also, sometimes we just have to refine their answers and push it in a certain direction. And by the way, you're going to be surprised too about how some of these things are, how they go. Okay, get kids to clarify the meaning. I think this goes back to like students explaining things. Get them to clarify what they're thinking. You can talk about biases. Why do we think certain ways? And this is a big problem in the media right now, I see it on Facebook happening all the time, as people build up these arguments and they attack people on what they think, and obviously they've got these biases, but if they said, yeah, I'm thinking this way because of this, I would say, okay, well, that's a fair point. But these days people just want to show that someone else is wrong and they're right, instead of thinking of the different ways. Okay, don't only focus on factual and academic matters. Make it personal, make it about emotions and cravings. Think about other things than just purely facts. That can actually make it special to them. Get kids to write. Okay, everyone, I'm going to finish by quickly looking at what we can do as teachers. I know I talked about it before, but we have to understand that critical thinking is one of the best things we can use in the classroom. And it is something we have to practice teaching too. So I would say during this week, find an interesting thing, a lesson that you have to do, and start employing some critical thinking. You can tell students to ask extra questions, to wear the different hats. You can tell students that you want them to report back to the group. Why did you think about this? Give them questions they can ask each other if they're younger. or if they're older, tell them to make up their own questions. Get them to relate it to their own personal experience and make them start thinking and making connections between the lesson that you want to teach them and maybe other things that you want to teach them later. Right. So how can we do it? We should start encouraging students to ask open-ended questions, right? Not just yes or no questions. We want to ask why, who, what, where, and make sure that there is no that the students know that there's no wrong or right answer, right? So many times the teacher is so fixated on what the right answer is that we sometimes forget that, wow, man, we're basically forcing these kids into thinking one way when there are all these beautiful other alternatives, right? Okay, work better. Good way. Number 2, give students time to think things through. Pros, cons, conflicting ideas, and yeah, the main ideas help them find patterns and connections. So contrasting, seeing what is the same, and using that. Okay, everyone. I think we all know how important critical thinking is. I think I'll make a video about it a bit later. I promised myself that I'll just do 30 minutes to just get used to this format. I've got some questions for you before we finish. There's something I want to finish on, but before we finish, I want to ask you, what time do you prefer doing this? Because this is definitely going to stay a weekly event. And I want to ask you, what is a better time? Because I can do it maybe an hour later or an hour before, but I like this time for me because I know I'll be home at night on a Sunday. So I guess within the 2 hours later or 2 hours earlier, I think in this time frame. So if you think a different time would suit you better, let me know. And also, I think, if you have any questions, if you have any topics that you want to talk about, let me know. You can also put them in the community page, because I'll do some on that. I think right now I'm thinking of doing one on public speaking, because next week we're doing the individual presentation. So maybe I'll do something on how to do public speaking. It's something I'm passionate about, but it's something I also need to practice more, to be 100% honest. And then last thing, what do you think? Should I wear a nicer shirt? Should I be more professional? Or is it okay for me just to be lazy and to sit here in a shirt? I think I'm actually answering my own question. This is supposed to be more professional, so maybe next week I'll put on a nicer shirt and do my hair up a little bit. Yeah, guys. There's something I wanted to finish on before I go. I think by giving this information, we can start thinking about how we can teach higher order thinking skills and problem solving to our students. And we can think of these different ways in ourselves and then practice that on our students. There was a wonderful quote I picked up that I can't seem to find at the moment. Give me 1 second while I find it. No, okay. Guys, I'm going to stop it there. Thank you so much. I'll put the quote down below the one I found. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. What ideas do you have? What would you like to talk about, and what time suits you better? I think thanks, Elsa. But yeah, I think I should look a little bit more professional, in case other people see it. But thank you so much. Yeah, this Wednesday I'm bringing out a new video. Like I said, I want to bring out a video every Wednesday and do my live streams on Sunday. This Wednesday's video is actually why teachers should use video in the classroom, and it's a very good topic. I tried to shoot it outside just on my own, but I might just fix it a little bit to look a bit more professional. Naza, Elsa, Mom, Danny, Juggy, everybody that's watching, thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic week at school. I hope everything goes well. And yeah, let me know if you have any topics you would like to discuss. Put it in the community page. I'll put it out. Everyone, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.